I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred in their bones. So let it be with Caesar. What is he even saying? All I'm saying is lend me your ears. First time I heard someone say, lend me your ears. I was like, what is the meaning of this? You mean I should cut my ear off and give it to you? I don't understand. That happened in the Bible now. I mean, but hey, please lend me your ears, all right? And give me your attention. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We all still listening to the Morning Crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigerian for Ada. Thanks to you for that, interesting time of sporting information. And Femi the Gang will be back tomorrow, 7:30 right here on the Morning Crossfire. Don't forget, they're always here, in the studio in the evenings. You can catch latest conversations from the world of sports at night. Fantastic banter and conversations every night right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info, your leading station for not just talk, but news and sports as well. My name is Kofi Bartels. As we're going through the papers in Dailies today, part 2, this morning, you can be a part of the conversation. Tell us what you think about what the papers are saying this morning. Your thoughts, your views, your opinion, welcome right here on the program. Numbers to call 0700-993-993-993, 0700-993-993-993. That's the line for everybody. I'm told that line isn't exactly available, so if you find it difficult to get through, you can call the female line 0201. That's for female listeners, first of all, 0201-465-7190. The ladies have said, okay, they will borrow, let me use that term now, they will borrow some part of their line, or they would lend it, put it better, to the men, for someone saying I'm speaking bad English. So, while our male listeners are calling, please be economical, all right? Don't suffocate our female listeners. Allow them breathe. You call one, you can relax it. The women call, then you call again, because it's their time to shine. After all, when their line was down, you men did not give them space. All right, and then our WhatsApp number 08095975805, 08095975805. You can send a short message via WhatsApp. You can send a voice note of 1 minute or less, or you can call via WhatsApp. Our Skype is also available. Skype is at Nigeria Info FM. Just search on Nigeria Info FM. And of course, on X, that's Twitter, we're at Nigeria Info FM. On Facebook, search for facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. That's in the browser. Or type Nigeria space info space 99.3. That being said, let's go straight to the first paper. The Guardian has a big one on the front page. Living wage negotiations hobbled by debt, poor execution in states. That's in page 6. Living wage negotiations hobbled by debt, poor execution in states. And I saw a list of Nigeria's domestic debt by states. That's how much the states are owing. I think it was put out by Cable Index over the weekend or on Friday. And I just got thinking about, why should state governors be even borrowing? Because I remember the first state governor who went a borrowing from the southeast. If you remember, it was a big story now. It was a big story. Okay? I know somebody goes, he's from the southeast. That's not the problem, please. It was a big story. Why was it a big story? Because it was new. I'm sure Nigerians were really not used to state governors going and borrowing. Okay? Now it's become the norm. These state governors take humongous amounts of money in terms of in loans, and only God knows what they use these loans for. Maybe I should look for that article. But this is what Guardian is saying. Living wage negotiations hobbled by debts, poor execution in states. I'll read some more on that. And they have an infographic of Nigeria's minimum wage floor progression from the days of Obasanjo all the way to Tinubu, and there's a question mark by Tinubu. 97.34 trillion naira Nigeria's debt profile as of December 31, 2023. Interesting data journalism there by The Guardian. More on the front page of that paper. Crisis looms as Inondo APC as elders insist on preferred governorship aspirant. It's a tough time for Aidatiwa. Insecurity. Tinubu's government has failed. Enough is enough, say northern leaders. Residents battle hunger over Okwama military crisis. Many fear dead. 15 houses razed as youth clash in Plateau. Operators begin final disconnection of unlinked SIMs. Bottom-up cash policy in MDA's discordant tunes on bureaucratic remedy for fiscal indiscipline. We'll talk some more about these. Let's go back to the phone lines and to our comments. 0700-993-993-993, 0201 46571 and 90. Please feel free to call and share your views. Also, quick reminder that we are also streaming live on YouTube and Facebook, so you can watch it. YouTube, search for Nigeria Info FM. On Facebook, search for Nigeria Space Info Space 99.3. I'm going to take your thoughts and your calls. A message on WhatsApp, Olusegun Ajayi in Korea is back. He says these school children should undergo therapy to get all the support they can. It's not enough to get them released, as something might have broken in them, and they'll express trauma in different forms. You're so right. You're so right. Olusegun, you're so right. I mean, I when I saw the pictures of these school children in a bus, some of them, they looked so young, so tiny. They were looking dirty, from the time in the bush, and I could not just but shudder at some of what they may have, at the thought of what they may have gone through as a result of that experience. So yes, indeed, they need therapy. We need to see that being done for them. I would like to believe the federal government has a plan, if not the federal government, the Kaduna State government has a plan to ensure that these children get therapy. But you see, the children are not the only ones in need of therapy, but let's not go into that. But I'm insisting Nigerians should demand from the federal government the whereabouts of the kidnappers. Yeah. Nigerians should demand the whereabouts of the kidnappers. Nigerians should ask the federal government, produce the kidnappers. We want to see them. Prosecute them, and then let them do jail time. I think that should be the next point of call for by Nigerians. But let's quickly look at the details of the lead story on page 6, the front page lead story, which is on page 6 of The Guardian this morning. This is what the paper says. As the race to set a new national minimum wage floor gathers momentum, the absence of a documented wage law may have thrown a spanner into the negotiation process. I thought it was a minimum wage law. It says wage law prescribes the general rules guiding the determination of wages and how national minimum wages are set. It says the parameters, what is it saying? For negotiation, wage setting, implementation, and sanctions. The paper says Nigeria has had a history of weekly enforced wage and minimum wage, rather, a challenge many attributed to the absence of a wage law. But I thought we have a minimum wage law, which is what they use to, to create the tripartite committee, which is currently, how do I put it now, engaged in the negotiations, even with what do you call it again, with zonal hearings that they held recently. Anyway, I want to go down to the difficulty. I'm going to leave the history and go down to the difficulty that the paper talks about as far as the states are concerned. Now, this is what it says. Ahead, because there's some states that cannot, that their IGR, that the budget is bigger than the IGR. There are states that have the state budget, right, bigger than the internally generated revenue, which means that without money from Abuja, they won't be able to sustain. Okay, and definitely is expected that these states will be finding it difficult to pay the new minimum wage. So how are they going to do it? Oh my God. This one says, the paper says, this is a part I'm interested in. Ahead of the new minimum wage negotiation, budget analysis said 15 states are yet to implement the 2019 30,000 naira minimum wages. 2019. Abasimbok. 2019. 15 states yet to implement the 30,000 naira minimum wages since 2019. But these guys have budget every year. Buhari gave out what is it called again? What did they call that money he gave out to some states? Which, I mean, till now we don't know what some states did with theirs. It's not palliative, it's the name we called it. Now, please, may not help me. And even at that, some still did not, because that money was meant to pay salaries. Bailout. Thank you. Bailout. I just remembered now. Bailout. Yeah. Until now, oh my God. Anyway, so the paper is saying that some states till today have not paid or implemented the 2019 30,000 naira minimum wage. And we have NLC. Good. And NLC is going to Imo State over one or two things in an election period. But there are states that are not paying their workers the 2019 minimum wage. Hey, I don't believe we have NLC and TUC, really. It says, raising doubt that if the negotiated wage review will not end at official documents. It says already the state governments are burdened by debt. So the state governors, when they take what do they use the loans for? I mean, shouldn't we have a loan law in this country? I know we have some sort of loan law in the constitution and all that. The president wants to take a loan, it goes to national, but that's not enough. That is not enough. Look at the loans Buhari took. What was he used for? Some state government, if you look at what the cable index put out 2 days ago, it's on their Twitter, just 2 days ago. Full list of domestic debt across Nigerian states. Lagos records the highest share at 1.05 trillion naira. Lagos, 1.05 trillion naira. In 2023, I'm not talking about 2024, 1.05 trillion naira. That's coming from the Debt Management Office, by the way. The total is 5.86 trillion naira. Yeah? We're not talking about foreign debt, domestic. Delta State, an oil-producing state, 373.41 billion naira. Ogun State, 278.6 billion naira. River State, oil-producing state, with a very high IGR, 232.58 billion naira. So you ask yourself, places like Kano, places like River State and Lagos State that have a high population urban center, when people pay taxes, where do these taxes go? Okay? I mean, I don't know, because I'm sure we're not aware of certain things. So they have to tell us. All right? Then today, they put out some information. All right? According to the CBN and Nairametrics, from 2015 to 2024, these are the 10 states that have borrowed the most from CBN to pay salaries. The first is Imo State, 20.46 billion naira to pay salaries. Kogi State is next, 20.26 billion naira. We need to ask them what happened to the bailout Buhari gave them. Kano State, 20.21 billion naira. Oyo State, 1.68 billion naira. 16.8 billion naira, sorry. And so on and so forth. They have Oshu, Edo, Benue, Ondo, Kaduna, Abia, all these billions, ranging from 20 billion to 14 billion. So these are states that are borrowing to pay salaries. Now, how much did the Kano State government budget for Ramadan fasting to buy food? Because I saw the governor acting what I call a drama. What I call a drama. When was this? Over the weekend. He went around looking at the food that was being cooked, distributed for Ramadan, and was asking, what is it? What nonsense is it? But you are the governor. He voted how much? Is it 6 billion naira? 6 billion naira? And then we hear that he came out to deny that it's not, he says it's not 6 billion naira, but it's 1.97 billion naira. But if you look at how much the previous, what do you call again? The previous governor spent, it's a far cry. Why should a state that is borrowing to pay its workers, a state that has external debt to the tune of how many billion? Is it billion? Let me look for it again. Domestic debt, 122 billion naira, be spending 1.95 billion naira to feed people during Ramadan. We're not talking about those kids who are homeless on the streets of Kano, or those who do not go to school, or those who are hungry, who need the food the most. Anyway, so this is what the paper is saying. I'm just going to leave it at that, because sometimes you gotta be careful with religious. But this is what the paper is saying. They're saying that already the state governments are burdened by debt, poor internally generated revenue, and heavy costs of governance. That these state governors, some of them are so inept to the point that they don't even know how to raise money from their natural resources. They don't know how to raise money from the opportunity they have. They have to go borrowing. Someone becomes a state governor, the next thing he wants to do is to borrow because he can't put on his thinking cap to say, how can we creatively bring wealth, create wealth, generate revenue? It's unfortunate. So it says already the state governments are burdened by debts, poor internally generated revenue, and heavy costs of governance. As of 31st December 2023, the states were carrying a debt burden of 10 trillion naira, which is 10.3% of total 97.3 trillion naira sovereign debt. The real debt load is much heavier. Some states' debts are not documented. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? It says, however, the fiscal constraints are not new to many states under the salary bailout facility. Remember that? They gave them money for salaries. And then some state governors, what happened to the money? Under the salary bailout facility established at the onset of President Buhari's administration and administered by former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, 31 states drew 457.17 billion naira in overdrafts to pay salaries, with 74% of the facility yet to be repaid by the broke states. The states may even be worse off than they were about 10 years ago when they needed assistance to fulfill their wage obligations. So I'm just going to leave it at that because we can't read all and on and on. But you see, I don't know, our state governors just get away with it. And these are some states that you have bogus projects, white elephant projects that are just to fulfill or satisfy the ego of the governors. Not scientifically thought out, not strategically implemented, and meant to serve as conduits for the governors to steal money for themselves. It's unfortunate, really, that we find ourselves in this situation. But I think it's a lesson to everyone. When we focus a lot on federal government, we also need to pay attention to what's happening in our states. It's very important. Let us throw the lines open. I'm going to leave the Guardian for now. 02014657 and 90. I'm not seeing any call on WhatsApp or Skype. 0201465719. It's unfortunate. Some of these state governors have turned, the opportunity to be governor. They become emperors. It's a blank check. You just get there and do what you want. Take what you want. Appoint who you want. And look at the situation we're in as we speak. Sad. 99.3, good morning.
Good morning. So for me, the reason why it's like this with what you're saying concerning the state governments not doing what they need to do, I wouldn't still not blame them because why? It's the kind of structure that we run. We run a structure that allows the governors to go cap in hand to the federal to get allocation. If it is decentralized, whereby the governors have access to the resources, then you go. The central is not made to be that strong. You just go and give them what you some quota to the federal. But now the central dishes are going to make them lazy. Everybody just look for who to blame.
Joy,
I don't blame
Joy. So if you go cap in hand, to Abuja to get allocation, and apart from that allocation, which you are getting, which ordinarily, if you were left on your own, you don't even have the natural resources to raise that money because someone somewhere has something called oil, someone somewhere has something called VAT, and then you are benefiting from it. If they leave you on your own, hold on, Joy, hold on. Sorry, I'm sorry. If they leave you on your own, how are you even going to survive? That's number one. Number two, okay.
They will. Now,
okay.
We, the citizens, can now hold the governors responsible because you don't have anything to say anymore because you have the resources to yourself.
So the one they're getting now, what are they doing with it?
Do you know that we blame the federal for everything that happens now?
Yeah.
Whatever happens, we blame the central. Why do you think we do so? Because everything comes to them, then they share. But when you now leave it for the governors to be the one to have, then give some percentage to the central, then we will now face the governor, and they don't have anything to say anymore.
All right.
So that's why when you talk to them, they will give one excuse, and I wouldn't blame them.
Joy, good to hear from you. Good to hear from you. Thank you so much. Good to hear from you. 99.3, good morning. What's up? Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome. Your name and...
Good morning. My name is Robert.
Okay. Robert, welcome. Go on.
Kofi, I congratulate those children that were released from captivity. But the thing is that I just want to say, as far as I am concerned, this banditry, kidnapping, and the other, it will continue in Nigeria because, though I'm not praying for it, because Nigeria government gives soft landing to these people. You know, when somebody is coming for negotiation, pay ransom, this thing will thrive. If you read the news last week about what happened in France, you know how those guys were handled. So until we do that, these guys will continue. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very kindly for your time. Let's pick a next listener. Please, if you call before, don't call again. One call per listener per show. All right. So others can have a chance to talk. Hello. Good morning. Yes. Welcome.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me? All right. Obviously, you can't hear me. Please do well to call back. Very good to hear from you and take your thoughts. 99.3, good morning.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Who do we have on the line, please?
Akin Kenaland.
All right, Akin, which headlines of interest to you?
Why is the mail line
Akin, we don't know. Yeah, it's down. It's down. Once it's back up, we'll let you know.
Okay. When you are giving a little, you can't manage it. Is it when you're giving your freedom to control the resources that you manage what is being given to you? I will just say our states, they are lazy. They are lazy. They don't want to do what is needful of them. That is just it.
All right, okay, thank you. Good to hear from you. We have a caller on our WhatsApp line, 99.3. Please turn off your radio where you are, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Name and headline.
I'm kind of confused. Is this Abuja station or Lagos?
Lagos. Sorry. All right, let's look at stories on the front page of The Nation. RMAFC begins review of revenue allocation formula. That's Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. That's in page 3. But Nigerians always want to know the revenue. How is it benefiting them? How's it benefiting them? Today, how many of you have seen the budget? How many of you know your state budget? How many of you know your local government budget? How many of you know have seen the federal budget and know what is meant for you, for instance, for your area? I keep asking, what has your local government chairman done? Your LCDA chairman, what has he done for you this year? Now, back to The Nation. OB leadership tussle deepens LP crisis. Sumonu, Chiroma, others, Abure. Okay, others, Abure must go. That's what I'm saying. Sumonu, Chiroma, others, Abure must go. I'm sure they're joining the NLC if they're not NLC already. So I don't know what this paper is driving at, but I'll open to page 4 and see. I expect that the gentleman mentioned will come out to deny that there's any rift to them. I'll be surprised if there is, but this is what the paper says. It says, a leadership tussle between the Abia State Governor, Alex Oti, and former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi is fueling the protracted crisis in the party. It was learned yesterday, because I know that the National Convention, which is for 27th, was set for Benin City before it was moved to Umuahia by, what's his name again, Abure, which this is what the National Assembly caucus of the party, they're not happy with, even the NLC as well. It says, Oti is the only governor elected on the ticket of the LP, although there is no personal feud between the two chieftains. Their followers are locked in conflict over who should be the national leader of the party in the post-election period. Okay, I saw one story about obedience and who are they talking to? So the headline a bit is a bit deceptive, slightly, because if the paper says that there's no personal feud between the two chieftains, I was surprised anyway. Like I said, then he shouldn't read OTOB leadership tussle now. But anyway, let's go on. It says OT is the only governor elected on the ticket of LP. Although there is no personal feud between the two chieftains, their followers are locked in conflict over who should be the national leader of the party in the post election period. The paper continues the story on page 4. It says, according to the party tradition and convention, the biggest ranking elected public officer is usually accorded the honor of party leadership in major political parties. Thus, the preponderance of opinion in the LP is that Governor Oti, who's the only LP governor, should automatically become party leader. It says, however, supporters of Obi, particularly Obedience, many of whom only identify with the party because of Obi's interests, believe that the former Anambra State governor is the party's leader as a former presidential candidate. Now, the paper continues, this is the Nation newspaper. A party source said these fanatical supporters of Obi have, this paper, oh my God, have invaded social media to compound the current crisis over the proposed convention. The Nation newspaper, do you have time? Oh my God, continues. According to the source, the initial choice of Umuahia, capital of Abia State, by the Julius Abure-led National Working Committee was rejected by vociferous Obi loyalists who decried the move on social media. Blah, blah, blah. There's no time. Well, what I would say to the Nation newspaper is, first of all, these headlines, sometimes when you write a headline like this, Obi leadership tussle deepens LP crisis. Then in the paper you say, although there's no personal feud between the two chieftains. Come on, please. I think we can do better. All right? With all amounts of respect to my colleagues in the Nation, we can do better. Also, each party is different from the other ones. You can't tell me because some other parties are saying, oh, okay, highest elected official is the leader of the party, therefore it must be so. And every party has its own modus operandi. Leave them. After all, was the current president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was he not leader of APC? Yeah, when Buhari was he a national leader? Was he not referred to as national leader of APC? Did he hold any elected position? Did he hold any elected position? Did he hold any appointment? I think, his supporters will always say that, he wasn't part of Buhari's administration, so we should not blame him for. He didn't hold any elected position now. So this I think the paper should leave, instead of trying to create something, you can report the story without making it seem like you have an agenda. Anyway, so that's that. I don't think it's a big deal. Still from the Nation, Tinubu pledges safer schools after rescue of Kaduna pupils. DHQ to hand over 137 Kuriga school children to the teacher dies in captivity. It's really sad. Like I said, Nigerians should ask the government to produce the kidnappers. Simple as that. Also, for Mr. President pledging safer schools, do we need to wait till children are kidnapped from schools before we pledge? All right. By now, I believe that the national security, maybe an audit, I'm not an expert, would have been done to say, okay, these are the flashpoints, this is what we have, these are dangers we're facing. Our schools have been targeted in the past. Let's do something. And the fact is that this particular local government has been a recipient of such attacks before. In fact, the primary school had to move from its original location to go into Kuriga town because of attacks. They had killed the principal there before. Or was it a teacher? And the family. They burned the guy. So it's already been established that school is a target. What did they do? So we don't have to be reactionary. I'm calling on the federal government to be proactive. Already these guys have shown us what they can do. Let's be proactive. Even with communal clashes, have a sit down and say, what are all the communal and community crises in the country? Let's have a committee to solve them. So it doesn't get to the point where soldiers are killed. Let's look into all crises in the states across the country, be it border, be it land. Thankfully, oh God, we thank God to my good friend George Kelly is the head of the border, commission. He's going to do a great job. All right, have a committee to solve all these problems, and let's be proactive. We have to go for a commercial. When we come back, we'll look at the news at 8, and then we have a guest. He's National Secretary of the former members of the Nigerian Armed Forces. He'll be joining us on the program that's after news at 8. My name is Kofi. Bartels, stay with us.
Without choice, there's no loyalty.
We remain loyal to bringing you the details and stories around the world.
The boys in that environment were just shooting up, pursuing them. I escaped that place in a whisker.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.